Welcome to Middle Fingers Up. I'm your host, Kiran, and today I have the privilege of sitting down with someone that I'm going to say the word again. I had the privilege of meeting back in November of 2024, where we both came together to plan an International Women's Day event. Her name is Mano, and while I could go on and rattle off her titles, her roles, I just wanted to share what struck me the most about her is not her resume and what she does. It's her presence. She carries herself with a strength and a calm that instantly makes you feel both grounded and also challenged, which I really, really appreciated in the work that we got to do together and the times that we've had conversations together. Mano is deeply rooted in the Indian community here, and through her yoga practice, she's been creating spaces for women not to just move their bodies, but also to meet themselves with compassion, especially during life transitions we don't talk enough about, like menopause. So today we're going to talk about the immigrant journey, women's health in our 40s, 50s, and up, what it means to care for ourselves beyond the just take a pill and get over it, the practices of meditation, exercise, compassion, all these sorts of things that can transform how we approach ourselves at any age. So if I can just say, before we get started, the word menopause, I'd love everyone to take a minute and just honestly answer what's the first word that comes to your mind when you think of that word menopause. I think we need to sort of start with what have we been taught through society, through our communities, our own belief system when it comes to women's health, and particularly as women age, how forgotten we are, how limited we are with the resources. We often think of menopause as hot flashes, night sweats, maybe even trouble sleeping. And while all that is true, it just gets put in this tiny little box that's all it is. But that's only part of the story. The truth is, menopause reshapes nearly every part of a woman's life, her mood, her relationships, her sense of identity, and even her overall satisfaction with life. So there's lots of research done out there, but I always feel these numbers are skewed because it's underreported. A lot of women don't share because of the stigma that their own communities carry. But typically, when you look up stats, you see that research shows 40%, again, I think that number is low, 40% of women experience depression during the stage of menopause and midlife. Over 50% struggle with anxiety and irritability. And then there's more than 60% that report to their doctors about brain fog or memory lapses. And these aren't just small little things. They affect how we show up at work. They are connected to how we feel at home and how confident we are within ourselves. And for South Asian women, I think there's an added layer because in our own communities, something like menopause is still treated with silence or stigma. The expectation is often just push through, don't complain, be happy with what you have, and to keep taking care and caregiving for others while your own body is shifting beneath you. So today's not just about the physical symptoms. Today's about the whole life impact of this stage and how we can begin to meet it with care, with compassion, and honesty. So let's welcome our wonderful guest. You're going to love her just as I do. Mano, welcome. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I'm so glad that we got together over the summer and you wanted to come on and you wanted to talk about your story, your experience. I love you. I
Thank
have
you.
so much respect for you, because I think we really get to know each other when we are put in high stress situations. And I had the privilege of, like I said, getting together with you and planning an event. And we all know how it goes when you plan events, good things, crazy things, stressful things. And you just always had your composure. You always thought about the bigger picture, which was all the women that would be attending. And that's really what you're all about, is taking care of the community, taking care of ourselves. I think you're a great leader in this community. So I'm so honored to have you here today. Are you excited to get into it?
I am. Thank you so very much. I The way you said leader and these adjectives for me, I have never thought myself as a leader.
Oh,
I just do things from my heart, what I feel is right, and that's it.
yeah. Well,
So
your heart
never
guides
thought,
you well.
yeah, never thought that I'm a leader in any way. I just believe in being supportive, being helpful, and that's it.
Well, I know that there's a lot of women out there that would agree that you do all those things. And I think a real leader doesn't even realize that they are one, like a genuine leader. So I'm not surprised to hear you say that, because you don't wake up and say, today I'm going to do this. I think, like you said, you lead with genuineness and your own life experience. And I want to get into that. So I know we're going to talk about menopause, but I'd like to start with your journey. I think it's always important to amplify voices of our immigrant community. And I love when women like yourself come on, because I think it's important to connect your story to the rest of the listeners out there who don't have similar stories and don't understand what life of an immigrant is when they leave their country, whether it's by choice or not. There's still a process you go through. So when you first came here as an immigrant woman, what's a truth? What's something about your journey, your experience that people don't really ask you about, but it's something that really shaped you and really something that you kind of work through when you got here?
When I came here from my province, I'm from UP, and not many people come here from UP. Like UP is state in India, Uttar Pradesh, and and then we didn't have one single person from my state who I knew here. So I just came and had one common friend. We used to talk a lot back in India in our cabs. So one person mentioned, "Oh, you're going to Canada." I said yes, and then fast forward, after 2 years, he came and he said, "Oh no, what happened? You were going to Canada." I said, "Yes, I'm going next week." And he said, "Oh, finally you are going." I said, "Yes, next week I'm going." So he shared a number of this person whom we I didn't know at all. I called him, and that was the only person I knew in Canada. And then I came, my husband had come earlier than me. He kept applying for jobs and no jobs. Like it is little difficult for immigrants. And I don't want to stress on that story a lot, that it is difficult for everyone. It was same for us as well. But this person, he helped my husband in getting his first job. And that's how we got our first break. But it was still tough for me. My husband got a break, but I didn't get into a decent job. And that time I was like, what should I do? And for me, I have one habit. When I find it very difficult, I force those things, force myself into those things. Like if I'm not getting a job, then I will make it then it won't be my purpose to get a job. It will be my purpose to get a job higher than where I was.
Yeah, I
so
love that. Yeah.
so I was forgetting my skills. I went to some immigrant services and started volunteering so that I don't forget the skills which I knew. In the process of learning, I just started telling also what I am doing, which is helping me. So my kid was young at that point of time, and I had worked a lot in India. Like from the time my kid was born, I had never taken a break. So back to back working, not even like a good vacation, I would say. I just used to work, and so that's how it was. So I thought it's okay, I will stay at home, but and take care of my kid, and this will and then land into a better job. In the process of doing this, I could help many women. Okay, this is the customer care job which I'm doing. You if it appeals to you, if it helps you, I will not say that you downgrade yourself to my level, but in that case, but if this helps, this is helping me taking care of my kid, and you two can join. So like this, I started helping, and then I got into decent job, everything happened, and but this journey was not very easy. First of all, I didn't have anyone. When I came to Canada, when I came to Calgary, I was the basement I got into. It was so dirty that I was throwing up and cleaning and crying, and I was like, where did I come in?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I come in? 200 times I questioned my decision. No one to offer me a cup of tea. So what I started doing, I can't ask people to give me anything. Uh, those days we didn't even have cars, so like I can't ask anyone to do. So let me start doing for them. So this all thing, all my struggles, it it told me I didn't have anyone, but nobody can stop me to be to become a help for someone. And that's how I started volunteering. Initially it started with a lot of volunteer work, when and then I joined this organization, Indian Society of Calgary. But before that, before knowing Indian Society of Calgary, I had my own network, and people knew me. Oh, if I need this help, I can reach out to Mano and she'll help me. And this was no network, nothing, just me alone. And I used to, when I had these many struggles, no proper job, nothing, no family. If I want to go see someone, I don't have that gupshup friend. So nothing at all. Completely empty on professional life, personal life, everywhere. And then I started supporting people. I was like, doesn't matter. I will give what I didn't have. And someday in the process, I will be able to create my little world. And yes, today I am there. I have, I'm blessed with most of the things which
You
I
know,
dreamed at one point of time.
I think what I love about what you're sharing is you saw a gap, which was that isolation, not having what you had back home, connection. And these are important things for our mental health, for our health to thrive. And instead of allowing yourself to get stuck in it, you did something about it. And I think that that's why you're a leader. I think you saw an issue and you think, okay, I'm not the only one that would be experiencing this. There must be other people in this city that I immigrated in that are going through similar things. And, I think nothing is beneath you. So you have these great big jobs when you're back home and you come here and you have to start from the beginning. And it honestly, every immigrant that I talk to talks about starting from the beginning, and you learn a lot about yourself and you create this strength and this level of dedication, and you understand the meaning of work ethic because no one's here to help you. And I think it's lovely that you did these things to also help the community as well. So that's like a really great story. I'd love to ask, did it ever feel like you had to leave pieces of yourself behind in India in order to fit in here?
There's one strange thing about me. I never think about what was there in the past. This was the choice I made. Now
Mm,
I'm here. I'm not going, like, there was no question, like, no future. The question of future, like going back or what I had, I have always lived in the now. So, what
mm,
I can do now to make it a better tomorrow for myself. Only one point of time when I felt like going back was when my kid was getting bullied at this in the school. That's it.
mm.
Otherwise, never. I never thought, okay, what I had, three mates. The best thing all Indians miss is their mates.
Yeah,
I
I
I
bet.
never missed anything. Let me be honest. I was like so busy making life here, so busy dreaming here, that I was like, I never had time what I left and what I will get in the future. I was like, what I'll do now to get where my what my dream to achieve my.
Sounds like you not only have been shaped by the Indian community here, but you've also done your own part in helping shape the community. And that's something to be proud of. I'd love to talk to you about yoga and just women's health, because I think those go hand in hand. And I know for you, yoga is not just a movement. It's not a fancy schmancy white people store where you have to pay $7,000 to go get some breathing techniques. For you, it's a way of being. It's genuine. It's connected to our ancestry. And so I want to see, like, how do you see it impacting, and by it I mean yoga, impacting women's health, especially in the midlife part, which is where you're in?
I started yoga like when I was telling them, like explaining how it happened for me in the beginning. In 2000, it was 2017, and I was knee deep into depression. I was no friends. My husband was working from Saskatoon. My kid was young. It was very tough for me, and no friends.
Yeah.
The worst part was no friends. Like having just one friend can make difference. So I didn't have any of that. So at that point of time, I restarted. I went back to my yoga because of being and like because of being depressed. I was like, I was not able to think anything, but I wanted, as I said, I live in now. I wanted to live and live for my kid. That was my situation at that point of time. And then I started yoga again, yoga workouts and everything, and again gave myself a goal. Okay, I have to reduce this weight, and I reduced the weight of 10 kgs weight. But then I had to go to psychiatrist for dealing my depression.
Mm-hmm.
The depression doses what it did. It started slow, but from mild, it went. I went on steroids on within 4 months, and nothing was happening. No changes. Only one thing which I saw was helping me was my workout. But I cannot stop medication because the moment I stop medication, I used to cry again. Then it was fast forward 1 year, and my major reason of my depression was no friends, no family, and then my job was everything for me. I really put in a lot of effort in my job, and I was getting fired back to back. I'll join one job, and no reason. I will achieve all my targets, but still something was off. I will not blame anyone here, but something was off, and it never used to work out. Then this happened. I got fired, and I went to psychiatrist, depression, and all medication. Then I got fired again in 2020. And I had my appointment with psychiatrist, and I said there is no point coming this week because I'm anyways going to cry because my job is the reason of my depression, and it has just happened. So if I come, I'm going to cry. He said, okay, let me postpone the appointment for next week, and then he postponed the appointment. In 1 week, I didn't cry,
Mm.
and I told him I didn't cry at all, so I don't think I need medication. And he was like, okay, so don't take medication. The day you feel like crying, then only you should take medication or you feel very depressed. And you won't believe when I went to psychiatrist, I was suicidal. I was, and we have a history of, I have a history of suicide in my family. So I used to look at my kid and I used to cry, I don't want to die. I
Mm-hmm.
want to live. And then I called all the support system, whatever I can reach out to. Canada has best support system, which I will say. I got the needed help, but then after doing yoga, when I told doctor that I don't need medication anymore, I believe, and this is what has happened. In that period, in 1 week, I realized what is that which has helped me most. Was it my tablets or was it my yoga? Then on doctor's consultation, I stopped taking medicine for one week. No crying. He called me. I said I didn't cry. He gave me 1 month. I didn't cry. None of my close friends even knew that I have been fired from work. So that's how strong I was. And that period of time only we had this biggest Indian Independence Day celebration. I went. I could manage the coordination of the event. The event was successfully completed, but nobody in my circle knew about it, that this is what is going on. So that convinced me, okay, what I have done differently is just added yoga to my life. And that's when I made yoga as my mission. So anyone with my flyer also says, if you have clinical depression, please claim your 25% discount. If you can't pay, talk to me and I can make it. Like, there are a lot of people whom I have given. I love to offer free classes. Some take, some don't. The one lady who took the classes, after 1 year, she messaged me saying, I'm off depression medication. And that's the true reward for me for yoga. So
Wow.
that is what I try to achieve from yoga. Um, Help someone, and these things, depression, menopause again have a lot of mood swings and a lot of hormonal change. And if I don't do yoga for a day, I'll feel like crying again, but then I'm like, okay, no, instead of crying, it's better to do do a yoga and be happy.
It's a release. I just want to say at this point too, like, thank you so much for sharing what you shared about your personal story with depression. I think, like, I don't know if you know this, but just even sharing this here in this space, you're breaking the stigma. You're encouraging people to share what's going on in their world. And a lot of our community is in the same boat as you with depression or other mental health struggles, but it's so lonely and isolating because there's worry of judgment. We do our own judging, and there's a lot of fear of what will people think, and I can't talk about it, and I should just not. And I think the fact that you are honoring it by sharing and talking and creating a space for the women to be able to release in the way that you do, that's huge. And I honestly think you should feel really, really like proud of yourself for not only just talking about it today, but continuing to encourage other women from the community to do the same, because there's so little education within our community about why we have the mental health struggles, our history, all of these things. Sometimes that history is lost. We don't know it in the same way because we don't talk about it. And the way we view some mental health issues back home is different here. So good for you, because you're also paving the way for your son. You're also helping him break a barrier should he ever experience that there's a safe space, that we have to talk about these things in order to address them. So I think that's amazing that you shared that today. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I really want people to know it hurts. And mm, actually, doctors are doctors, but then I'm not in any way challenging their education, but this is my personal experience. Those steroids didn't help me, but again, I don't say that you shouldn't go on like what doctor says. For me, what helped me was my
Yeah.
yoga.
Yeah.
So I did take medication, but then it was like forever I would have um, written medication in my destiny had not I practiced yoga.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, and you're right. Like, everyone's journey is different. But one thing that I feel that gets lost when our community comes to the Western world is we have very sacred practices that our ancestors did, like yoga, like meditation, like somatic breathing, and so on and so on. And somehow, when we get here, we are so medically focused, and while some people do need medication, it's not the only thing that's going to help get through the day to day. And I think we lose a part of our ancestry when we don't know how to go back to the roots and do the things that help us breathe and get the inside out and the outside in. So you're right. There's lots of different ways to look at it, but medication and the Western way is not the only way to combat mental health. There are lots of other things we need to think about. So, and I think because you've experienced this firsthand, you're a great candidate to encourage that kind of conversation with other women. Like, women from our community are going to feel very inspired by you because you have experienced it, right? And we need to get that out more. We need to talk about that more because we have a lot of very sad, isolated, lonely women that are thinking that's the way life is, that you have to keep that pain in the way that they experience it, and then it turns into physical health issues, so which I'm sure we'll talk about. So this is why I think you have that mindset of sometimes in the community, and not just Indian community, this is the Western community. Oh, you have pain, then just take a pill, right? So what's missing when we think that way?
I won't say that it is wrong to not take the medication. I would say, but then find out a solution, because every medication we are taking, that first of all, pain is the way it is telling something is not right in your body. It's good to have pain, because pain
Yeah.
is an indicator that
Yes.
something needs to be addressed. So don't just go for medication, go for a proper understanding of why the pain is happening. We never get pain without any reason. Am I
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
get headache when we are overtired. We sleep, we get better. Or different reason, like I have shoulder injury and it hurts. But when I don't deal with it, I take medication, then it will subside for some times. And if I'll keep taking medication, then it will go spoil my other part of body,
Yeah.
because it's a temporary solution. It's not a permanent. It is not made permanent solution. We are not prescribed medication in our food, morning, evening,
Yeah.
afternoon we can have. So that is an alien thing, and nothing which is alien will fit. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to look for a permanent solution for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not that don't take medication. It is take medication, but know why it is happening.
Yeah. Can I ask you, what do you think is the biggest misconception, misunderstanding women have about their health in their 50s? Like, what are you seeing is the biggest misunderstanding?
सभी को तो होता है. Why are you acting? And the worst part is it
Mm.
comes from a woman. So you're facing, and when it happens to other women, will say, "Oh, sabhi ko to hota hai. Why are
Mm.
you acting?" But it is not same for everyone. For me, my periods are very much hurting. It cannot be seen for everyone. Again, I'm at I'm at pain level 2. Maybe somebody is at pain level 4. Somebody is at pain level 7. How can I understand other person's pain? My whole life I have been judged. Oh, you make a lot of drama when it happens to you. I bleed a lot. I had been bleeding like 3 days of hell for me.
Yeah.
And everybody used to say, oh, you do this. And then doctors will say, even doctors used to say, oh, when you will get baby, it will it will go away.
Hmm.
Baby happened, 18 years, nothing happened.
Hmm.
The pain
Hmm.
is still the same. I still go lifeless during those 3 days. And then
Yeah.
I got diagnosed with endometriosis now.
Hmm.
So I like it is not normal to have pain. Pain was anything which happens to us once in a while is not something which is how we are designed. Let me say
Yeah.
it this way. So periods are made, but never it is not supposed to be that painful. But if it is happening, there's something wrong there. Go get yourself checked.
Yeah.
Don't have this. First of all, don't go by others norm. Nobody's living your life. If you're having pain, you are feeling, you go see doctor.
Why do you think we say that a lot? That, oh, it happens to everybody. You know how you're saying that? Like, why do you think that's the first thing we say when someone's presenting their pain and we say, oh, you're being so dramatic?
I will not, like, I stopped saying for the reason it was said to me. Because every time I complain about my pain, people said, oh, it is like this for you.
Yeah, but
So
why do
I
you
knew
think
the
people
pain
say that? Like, it's because you're right. You're
because it
not
was
saying
said
it.
to
I'm not saying
them.
it. But most of the women around us, or men are the worst who don't know what it means to have their period, but they sure have a opinion about it. Why, as a community, that's the first response is, well, everybody has pain.
Not many, because I changed because I wanted to break this chain. I wanted to be different. I knew what it means, how it hurts when anybody says it happens to everyone. But when you go in the past and look at your grannies, aunties, and all, they will come with this statement, "Sabhi ko to hota hai," to,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it was like that. They have heard it and they felt that it is a regular, usual thing. People are saying it in the past, so this is the only fact.
Yeah.
So people were made to believe this, but people like you and I and whoever it is who says it is different, I think we are the ones who are breaking this chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I agree. I think there has to be continual conversation. And you have a son, I have sons, and I think we have a huge responsibility as mothers to Indian boys, or just any mothers to any boys, to help them understand too. They may not be a woman, but they may be in a relationship with a woman. Their mother is a woman, their sister, and maybe one day they'll have a daughter and a wife. And I think we do a disservice when we hide this kind of conversation about periods and pads and blood and all that, and we really restrict our boys from it, that it turns into being something so weird. We're the reason why we are so secretive because of them. And then we grow up thinking, oh yeah, this is normal, this is normal, until you have maybe a really good doctor or a woman in your life that's like, this is not normal, honey, we gotta deal with it. And I think the conversation has to continue and continue and continue, because cycle breaking is exhausting. It's not easy. And when you're just starting it. So do you have advice for other women or even men that are listening today, and how they can be part of the movement in breaking this cycle and getting away from it happens to everyone? What's one thing they can do to stop that?
I told my son when he told me, "Mommy, this chapter was today. We were taught this in this school." Then I asked him, "Do you have any more questions around it?" He said, "No, I don't." Then in the next month, I told him, "You were taught this in this school. So 3 days in a month, I am like this in back pain. So maybe I'll misbehave those days. So I'm sorry about it, but I'm letting you know so you don't react to it."
Mm-hmm.
So he said okay to that. And fast forward till today, he continues same thing. He
Yeah.
knows when, and for me it is bad. I get stain and everywhere. It gets very bad for me.
Yeah.
So some or the other way he gets to know about it. And I have told him, you are not going to judge about it. And
Mm-hmm.
if different people have different body, maybe somebody is not like me, somebody doesn't have that problem, then you can't feel that it is abnormal to not have this pain because
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
everybody is like me.
Yeah.
And for other women, what I would say, let's be women. Let's start understanding each other's pain. The day we can start understanding each other's pain, this world will be a much better place. And also, will never be, there won't be a day where men are going to screw us. It,
Yeah, yeah. Fuck patriarchy. Yes.
yes, then if
Yeah.
we are understanding each other, we can understand each other's pain
Yeah.
and just drop our judgments. We'll be able to help each other, because
Definitely.
that is
Yeah.
what was the thing we had seen in the past, right?
Yeah.
Granny did to mother, mother did to daughter-in-law. But now this generation is breaking that chain.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I think what I hear you saying is education. So I love what you do with your son. I had a very similar story I talked about before with both my boys, and helping them understand the cycle. And I think for people listening, particularly people that are listening that live in Alberta, that have young children going to school, I think we have to understand that the government has now passed a new way of health education. And before, your child, usually in grade 5, would go to school and automatically they were taught about health and sex education. And now the government has changed it, and it's called opt-in, meaning as parents, we have to be very careful and look for forms to fill out and tell the school, yes, I want my child to attend this. And I think there's lots of controversy out there about why kids should not be taught about health education. And I really hope we all can understand that when our children at a young age start to understand what their role about health, sex education, consent, all that is, then we're breaking the cycles of sexual violence. Then we're educating our boys, our daughters to live in a safe place. And when we don't have that, our kids are growing up finding out this information in lots of other ways. And I really encourage parents to pay attention in Alberta when those forms and those emails are coming, and we really should be encouraging our kids to get that health education. And it's still our job as parents, like you said, when your son comes home, they're going to have questions and we have to explain things to them, but the body is biologically doing things. And if we are not teaching our kids what that means, we're doing them a disservice. And, our daughters, we can't just hand them pads and say, okay, there you go. That we have to honor. It's, I think we think the period is just disgusting, but then we all want to have children and we want our daughter-in-laws to be fertile and get pregnant. And we have to understand there's a connection. Like, a period is a very sacred thing and it's a good thing. And it's our health. And those of us that are getting older, now every month when I get my period, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy. Like, my body is still healthy, right? Where when I was young, I was taught, oh, it's a burden. So I think we have to start to flip how we look at some of these things and, honor our bodies and biology in a way, instead of being afraid and saying, oh, no, that's too much information. It's not, because it's happening. It's happening to us. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that before we start talking a little bit more about menopause. Anything else you want to say about yoga as well?
For me, I encourage everyone to do yoga. Like, just feel it for not only yoga, actually, do any kind of exercise, anything of your choice, which gives you, which is a bit of exercise, like workout for you, which makes you happy. For me, it is yoga.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with you. I think there is research out there, even for just the Indian community, South Asian community. We are generations of surviving, and we are only now breaking barriers and thriving. And we are only now understanding what physical health means, what mental health means. Some families, they figured it out, but most of us don't really understand the impact. And I also think it's important to figure out, especially what age we're in, because what I used to do for exercise in my 20s is actually not what my body needs in my mid 40s. I need more low impact, more heavy weight. Something like yoga is really important. And so I would agree with you that we do have to encourage us women to educate each other and be more curious about, how can I have movement in my life? Because there's a huge connection to mental health and physical health when we have movement in our life. So at the end of this episode, I will ask where people can get in touch with you as well. So in case if they're going to your class, and the beauty is you do online sessions. So anyone from anywhere, we have listeners that are outside of Alberta, outside of Canada. So anywhere people can join at any point to have a yoga session with you, which I think is great that you reach people that way. Can we talk a little bit about, actually, do you have any stories about women that have been attending your sessions? Anything that you want to share that women are proud of or you're proud of that have attended your yoga sessions?
The previous question I answered, I felt that I spoke out of place there about an experience, but that experience is very, very close to my heart. I was thinking, should I continue with teaching yoga or not? And then in the process of contemplating, I was like, I'm going to India. I want to spend some time with my kid. I'm going to shut it off for some times. And then I'm getting this message from a lady. You offered me free class. I offer free class during Women's Day, 1 month of free classes. Come and try for yourself. And this lady messaged me, once you gave me this free class and I could join your class, and today I'm off depression medication.
Oh.
I was literally into tears.
Mm-hmm.
I just the tears were not stopping. It was just continuously running. And I was like, I could make an impact. And that is what my first yoga student used to say, that he was, that's because of him only I started teaching yoga as well. My class is at 6. His truck will get parked at 5:50. and he'll be waiting in his truck. Then 6 p.m. he will come in and he will. Initially, we were not talking so much. He was my first student. I also had a lot of self doubt. Will I be able to teach him or not? Am I good at teaching? This is what happens to everyone. So, am I good at teaching? I was just teaching one student, and when we started talking after 6 months, he was like, Manu, you don't know what you have done to me. I come here with a lot of worries and I drop everything. And that was kind of a reward to,
Mm-hmm.
to me, because so far I was just living in the dream. Okay, yoga has benefited me, but will I be able to make impact on someone's life? And this was the one. These sentences, these messages that made me more confident. And because of him, I always tell him, because of you, I have my yoga studio. Otherwise,
Oh.
I doubt I could even dare to dream that I can teach. And he said, no, you don't only teach, you're a very good teacher. And the
Oh.
last story, which is very, very close to my heart, is this auntie joined my class. She wanted to join yoga, but life kept her very busy and she couldn't. She joined the yoga class and her ankle got sprained,
Mm-hmm.
but she doesn't want to miss the class. She joined the class with sprained ankle.
What?
Yes,
What do you mean? She just
she
kept
joined the
coming with a
class.
sprained ankle?
Yes, her ankles were sprained, but still she joined the class and she
Damn,
finished the
auntie.
class as well.
Wow. That's amazing. There's that must mean there's such a like energy with connection there that you are so committed, like your first student, this auntie, like they don't want to miss it. They're getting some like a community feeling from it. That's amazing.
Thank you. And it was very touch. Every time I teach her, she's recently lost her mom. And now I have changed my how I guide you during Shavasana. I've changed those wordings to make her feel grieving is tough. I too have had grief. I'm still grieving for my mother, who I lost 22 years back. So she has just lost. So when I'm guiding into Shavasana, I use those words. And the moment she will get up, when if she gets an opportunity to talk to me, she will always say, this is not yoga for me, this is like a prayer for me.
Oh, that's
So,
amazing. Yeah. It's like therapy. That's lovely.
so
I think you're right. When our body is present and still, it's a good time to do like gentle grief work. I think that's a lovely time to put that in there and that you think about your clients and what they're going through. No wonder they don't want to miss it and they keep coming back. So, I think that's great. With yoga and some kind of movement, exercise, where does menopause fit in this? Because I know that you yourself have been around other women. I mean, we even talked about this at the International Women's Day. We did a panel talk too, and it was a conversation a lot of women felt really connected to. So I know there's lots of feelings about it, but not everybody knows what to do about it. So as we know, menopause is often whispered or it's like brushed aside. So what do you think it really feels like to go through it emotionally, physically, and even spiritually?
I started 1 year back, and it is painful. A lot of mood swings again, and then having a history of depression. It makes
Yeah.
it a little more tough. But then again, it was yoga which kept me going. And why yoga? Because it's a gentle movement. You stretch to the extent you can. So it
Mm-hmm.
tells you every day. And in my yoga class, I always tell respect your body. It's not a judgment. And I keep reminding people, though each one of us know yoga means union of mind and body, but I keep reminding them, see, yoga means union of mind and body. If your body is not agreeing to that stretch, don't stretch. If you are going down, like if you're bending forward, exhale, surrender yourself to the universe and see how deeper your forward bend is going to be. And these words which I use, the vocabulary, that helps them a lot. Sometimes it is everybody knows everything, but a gentle reminder to them and gentle reminder to ourselves makes it a little bit difference in everybody's life. For me, when I remind them, I'm actually reminding myself as well
Yeah.
that this is what happens. Surrender yourself to universe. In that case, it is going to happen. Accept it with grace.
Yeah.
So it is like you can fight with it. You can complain, okay, I'm going through menopause. I'm entitled to throw tantrums. You will, yeah. So that is one more thing which I'm seeing. Okay, I'm going through menopause. I'll be throwing tantrums for these many days, but be acceptable of it. Be graceful. Be grateful to the people around you, and be graceful about the phase of life you are in. And
Yeah.
that three things will make your words real better. And menopause is again a stage of life. It is a changing of phase. Anything which is under construction is painful. So
Mm-hmm.
menopause is also make preparing you for the next stage of your life. So just be graceful, accept it. And these little yoga, soft movements, tai chi, walking, all these things are like that. It is that gentle massage on your body.
Yeah, I like how you say. I like how you say it's your phase where we're under construction. So there's work in progress, and sometimes it's you got to put a hard hat on to deal with it, and you have different tools that you need, but it's messy and it's not complete, and we have to learn how to safely operate in this space that's not the way we want it to be. And so for women who feel maybe their bodies are betraying them, or maybe their minds aren't, the way that they wish it was, the tantrums, all that. Like, what's one piece of guidance you'd share that's been helpful for you?
For me, it was acceptance. And for everyone, I
Mm.
believe the acceptance really helps. When you start accepting, okay, this is going to happen to me, how I can be better at this point of time. Brain fog happens to everyone, pain happens to everyone, mood swings happen to everyone. If it didn't happen to you, please don't judge others. If it happened to you, you know how difficult it was. Be a helping hand for someone, be a leaning shoulder for someone.
I like that everyone's journey with menopause is going to be different. So just because it didn't happen to me doesn't mean that it's not happening to another woman that I'm, in the circle I'm with, and same. But I think if we are opening the lines of talking and sharing openly, I think I always remember for when and maybe this was for you too, when I had my really young children, and you're working, and you're not sleeping, and your kids are dictating your life, and you're like, how are you, this tiny thing, running my life? And oh my God. And you go to a birthday party, or you go somewhere and you talk to another mom and you want to hug her because she's so open to saying, last night was so hard, or this morning we didn't almost even come here because my kid is too much, or I don't feel like a good mom. And I always remember those conversations felt like therapy for me, because it felt like, oh, I'm not the only one that feels like a bad mom, or it's not just my kids. It's normal for these kids to experience something. And I think you learn to have more compassion. But then when we get older, because menopause isn't as rewarding as maybe having a baby, we hide it, and we dismiss it, and we think, oh, just it's whatever. And I hear you saying this a lot from the beginning today, which is, no, you have to be open, you have to accept it, you have to be compassionate about what's happening in the process you're going through, and we can't just skip over it. It's one other part of our journey that's important. So I really appreciate that kind of feedback that you've given. Is there anything else about the world of menopause, and maybe for some of the men maybe that are listening today, that we can give them some advice? What would you say to any men that are listening whose wives might be going through menopause?
It's not the advice just for the menopause days. It's like it's forever advice. Be kind with your words. Your words have so much power.
Mm.
Uh, Someone just says, you know how it works. In when I was very little, like grade five, I was in grade five. I watched this TV series, and there it was a very bad boss was there. He was real bad. And then someone comes and says, "You're beautiful." And for that statement, he goes and he thinks, he hardly smiles, but then he goes and sees himself in the mirror and he says, "I'm beautiful. Where is my hair? I'm beautiful." He comes back and then someone again tells him he's beautiful. And then he is a changed man. So this guy, this person, this lady, whoever is was that, he was very brutal, very he was like real. He has not this person, this lady has never smiled. She has never smiled in the office. Just by saying you're beautiful, she started smiling. So, and this happens in real life. This was like I watched it in grade fifth.
Mm.
And now at this age, I still remember how it can impact a person. Just
Yeah.
saying someone, don't be like a flatterer. Don't just make a incorrect thing. I will not say anything with to get my work done. I'll say only when I feel about it that this is real. And this series, I have experienced it so many times in my life. Whenever I have said good things up to others, like simple thing in yoga, when I say gauge up, the moment their gauge goes up, their body goes there. So if your gauge is defining how much your words have impact, so be kind to yourself, be kind to others. It is simple thing to be kind. It doesn't cost, and you'll end up making, you'll never have a depression in your family if men are listening it. If you just can say thank you for the work you have done, you're beautiful today. Don't if she's not looking good, don't say that. But if she's looking good, just say, acknowledge it once. You will live in a much happier home.
Yeah. I love that. It reminds me of when my dada passed away. I was very close to him actually. Most of our family had some kind of strong connection. He was a amazing man. And I remember a story that one of his sisters shared about him, which was my daddy was not a good cook. And we all kind of knew that. But one time, my dada's brother was over and my daddy cooked for them. And, my grandfather said, "Oh, thank you so much." And that's one thing he used to say. Anytime someone made him a meal, he would always be very grateful for that. And so, "Thank you so much. It was so good." And his brother says, "Why are you saying it's good? It's not. It's not good at all." And he looked at him and he said, "Are you kidding me? Like, she took the time to make me something, but because it's not maybe what we like in the taste or what, it's the fact that she had care to nourish me and feed me." And so we have to thank each other and we have to be kind and express gratitude. And what I love about that is sometimes if it's not the way we want it, then we don't know how to express the gratitude. Sometimes we only express it because we gained something from it. Because you said something nice to me, then I'm going to be nice to you. And I think in a community, we have to understand, like, it's not what are the people around me doing for me to be trusted. It's not what are they doing that I can trust them, but it's what can I do so that I trust or the community feels something for me. And I always love that my dada was that way of you have to give in order to get. And who cares what it tastes like? The fact that someone's doing something for you. And it reminds me of this story you share of it's a ripple effect and it makes the environment that we live in so much healthier and manageable when we can take the time to say thoughtful things to each other. So, yes, my husband drives me crazy about his socks everywhere. And yes, I drive him crazy about the things I do. But if we can each take the time to look at the things that we love about each other, then we can deal with the socks and the other stuff. But if we're always expecting something else, I think we don't live a very fulfilled life because it's like, it's like we have to be willing to see kindness from others as well. Let's talk about something that you shared when we met over the summer. And I love this and I want to talk to you about this. You went to India this summer and you went to the motherland with your son because he's entering uni, right? And this is a trip you wanted to do with him as he's becoming an adult and entering a different phase of his life, just like you're in a different phase of your life. And I don't hear a lot about this in our community. And so I was very humbled by it. And I want to hear from you. So what made you decide to do this? What made you decide that you were going to do a mother-son and your husband didn't even go, it was just you and your son. What made you decide that it was going to be the two of you and you were going to do this?
First thing was I was a little greedy. I wanted I wanted to have all of his time to myself before he leaves.
Oh.
So, I was calculating, okay, 24 hours in flight, he'll be right next to me, he'll leaning over me, and all those things. I was always like this, that crazy thing. I used to run from home to take care of him. It's
Oh.
like my most prized position. He was. So when he will lean on my me to sleep, otherwise he'll be in his room. I'll be in my room. He will when
Yes.
how teenagers are. But then in the
Yeah.
flight, when you don't have a space, he will sleep on mommy. So just to enjoy, so that he can sleep on my lap, I was awake as much longer as I can, so that he can sleep on me. I can feel him before it's enough, like before he goes away. So that was one. I wanted him to take to all the relatives, so that he can get blessings of each of one of them. And then we were planning something, and he said, "Mummy, let's go there." And Mummy was all the moment where he said we go there, Mummy will immediately book the ticket, and I'll book the ticket from Canada, so nobody can tell me what to do, what not to do when I'm going to India. Because happens, right? Where parents will
Mm.
say, okay, they also have their expectation. There's nothing wrong, but this trip was a mother-son trip. So I wanted to do everything which he wanted. So I took him to places. I took him to my in-laws' place. There, I loved how everybody loved him.
Oh.
He getting pampered. That was the best thing for me, to see him getting loved and hugged by everyone. Whatever gifts he got, so when we returned for his university, I made him wear one, like, shirt given by my in-laws side, and jeans given by my brother, so that he is going with the blessings, is he shielded and all those things, all their blessings. So that's how it was.
So tell me, like, what did this trip teach you about motherhood and about letting go?
Letting go gracefully. You love someone, but that doesn't mean that you have to stop them. Uh, no, but I knew when we were start like applying for universities that he's going to go, but then there was option. He was not a kid who wants to, like, if you ask him which university you will go, his answer was never like out of Calgary.
Mm,
He
mhm.
was like, wherever good university I will get admission. 80% of students are staying back in Calgary from his class. I could have opted for that. But then love means to empower, love means to give wings to them to fly
Mhm.
and let it go gracefully. And it is
Yeah.
not, and he's not gone. He's growing.
Yeah.
He's developing himself. He's becoming a good human being. It is also a test of my parenting. What job did I do? How did I
Yeah.
do it? I had more trust on my parenting than on anything else, on like trust on environment, what he will get into. But I had trust on my parenting that whatever is the situation, he'll be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
So
That's so well said. I think good for you. Very good mindset. I think these transitions from our babies to then like even preschool can, the more freedom they get, on one hand it's good for them, but on the other hand it's hard for parents, and I think moms more. But then this whole phase of university, and even when they're getting married, you're enjoying it, but there's a little bit of grief in there too, because you're like, okay, now you're your own person. But I love what you said. It's a good test to see, hey, I did my job now, and now it's his turn to figure out the world, but I'm still here. And I love that. And my question to you is, how do you think moms, dads, parents, how can they prepare themselves, not just their kids, but prepare themselves when these transitions happen in our children's lives?
for me, what helped me was what what will be good for my kid.
Yeah.
Like, if this is good for him, this has to be good for me. I will find it funny. Not many people who know me who they feel that I will not let my kid get married because his wife will come.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
before saying these statements, if I'm really loving someone, why will I be obstacle in his happiness?
Right,
Right? I will love to get him, love to see him getting married. I will love to see him having having a family of his own.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, the kids are going to go, and you have to, if you say that you're a good mother, then in that case, you have to prepare yourself. And if you always believed in your kid's happiness, then anything which makes the kid happy,
Yeah. I think
right?
that's a nice way to put it. Well said. Well, I wish him the best of luck as he enters university. I think it's a really great experience and a training for becoming an adult, and good for him to go, and I wish both of you the best.
Thank
And
you.
I think it's wonderful. I think you should write about your experience on this trip with him so you remember it, because it's not common that we do this, and I'm sure you're going to have so many memories for like that you will always have with him, whether he's sleeping on you in the airplane or whatever it is that you get to have him meet other family members. I think that's so cool that you guys went and did that. It was a good, when you told me that, I was like, oh, I love that. I think that's so cool for me to look forward to when my kids are at that age. So thank you for that idea. I thought that was amazing to go, and for a mother and son to go together as well. I think that's amazing. It's a pretty special bond, we get to have with our boys, and as they get to have with their moms. So I wanted to just check in with you. I know we talked about menopause, you talked about yoga. Is there anything that you want to add? I know you mentioned a little bit about meditation and exercise, but is there anything that you wish I had asked you about that maybe we didn't talk about?
No, actually, you covered everything. Yeah, everything. Thank you.
So, how about we cover one thing? I know self compassion was a big part of our consult when we met in the summer. You've talked about it today. And I think compassion, whether it's for self and others, I think it's a great idea. Sometimes it sounds more simple than it can be, and it's hard to practice. So, for you, what is some feedback or advice you can give us about what it actually looks like in our day to day and how we can be mindful of practicing it?
It's just one thing. Just don't judge anyone. That's the least effort for you as well. Like you putting your brain in different way. Oh, it this doesn't happen. Just if someone is sharing something with you, I for me what I do is I will not say others, but I what I do if someone is sharing their pain with me, I just focus on the pain. And also, I would say this cannot be a hard statement. If you're in a job of doing it, you have to do. If somebody's telling a like cooked a story, you have to find out okay, it's cooked or not. But are you in that job? Are you in that job of finding out is it a cooked story? If you're not in the job of finding out or analyzing it's a cooked story or not, if somebody as a friend is reaching out to you, try to become that friend for that
Mm,
person. That's it. When I said cooked story, like there are a lot of professions where people try to judge the situation and all. You are not in that situation. You are not doing that job. So in that case, don't do that. If somebody is reaching out to you, just listen. That's it. Sometimes if you don't have answers, don't care.
yeah,
Sometimes people don't want advice. Sometimes people just want someone to listen to them.
yeah, yeah,
From my the volunteer work where what I do, a lot of people reach out to me and they said, "We just wanted to talk to someone, and we can talk to you because we know it will not go anywhere else."
mhm,
So that gives me so much of comfort. Okay, I am able to support someone in this way. So, and it never goes out from me. Whatever is the situation, I will like that person, I will not like that person. Like, but I never go and bitch about that. I will never go and say something. Okay, when I was getting along with this person said like this, and now I'm making it all public.
yeah, yeah,
So, relationship change.
yeah.
So, I'm best at giving support to people, and I try to do that.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation, good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter for me.
I appreciate that, and I think It's healthy practice. And I think we should be encouraging more of that, less of the gossip about people in a poor way and more of, okay, how would I want these people to show up for me? Everyone doesn't know what's going on in everyone's world, but we seem to think we know everything. And I think you're right. We have to be a little bit more compassionate. And honestly, where it starts is with ourselves. If I want to be kind to you, I do need to learn how to be kind with myself. And sometimes we skip over that part. And that's why it's hard. It's hard to show up for people because we don't know how to show up for ourselves. And once we figure that out, then we're like, yeah, I can be here for you. I can listen because I know these are the things that help me. So where we're at now is doing our middle fingers up segment. So as you know, the show is called Middle Fingers Up. And for any people, that you're going to bring in listening for the first time, middle fingers up is really for me, my middle fingers helped me growing up when no one was there and I could use them to help me through situations. And so what we do here in the segment is we're not putting our middle fingers up to people, but situations, good, bad in life. It could be lighthearted. It could be something deep, big or small. It's really up to you. Maybe it's something that you want us to pay attention to. So what is on your mind today and what do you want to put your middle fingers up to?
I thought about this question, but then I thought I cannot say my middle finger up to this situation or anything. I always think about how can I change it. So
Go for that. Yeah.
so
Go for that.
Anything for me, an answer to every situation is be kind to everyone. That's it. I could have said another way, the way you wanted. That cannot be my answer. So in that case, I would say be kind. This is the best ever thing anybody can do. And kindness doesn't need any qualification, any extra, nothing. It doesn't need anything. It just needs your heart. That's it. Which you already you come with that.
Yeah. I love it. So middle fingers up to not being kind to ourselves. I agree. I think we do need to be kinder to ourselves and to each other and really figuring out what that means instead of just saying it. Because I think we say these things, but then it's like, how do we practice it? And so I appreciate you sharing that. It sounds so simple, but it's hard. It's hard to do, especially in the world we live in. Sometimes it's difficult to show up in a kind way.
I am coming on your show and breaking your rule, but because that
you know what, I've had a few people do this where they're like,
really?
I don't want to do it this way, and then when I explain, they're like, oh, I get it, it's fine. It's really what middle fingers up is pushing it. It's standing up to what we believe in. That's what it is. It's not stepping down. And what you're standing, and you can say however you want, and what you're saying is you're standing up to being kind. It's important for us as humans to understand what that means, and I think that's great. So no, that's totally fine. So a couple last questions. So one is, if everyone listening or viewing today left with one thing and only one thing from your episode, what do you hope they leave with today?
They just understand the power of their words. Every word they speak that has a meaning, that has impact on them and on others. So power of their words, power of their vocabulary.
Ooh, I like that. And then lastly, if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to join your yoga class, like where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram. And most important, if you're dealing with depression, forever, this is an offer, 25% discount is always there. If you can't afford the classes, but still you want to practice, come talk to me. I will be willing to give you free classes with a condition that you will come. I don't like to put conditions when I'm offering things, but yoga is like that. If you will not do it regularly, you will not feel the benefit. So you have to be regular. So come practice with me. If you have clinical depression, claim your discount, and I would love to pass it on to you.
And can you tell us where they can find you?
I'm on Insta and I'm on Facebook. My Facebook page is Yoga Studio, and on Insta again, it's with the same name, Yoga Studio.
Okay, perfect. And we'll have that in the show notes for people. So I just want to thank you for showing up with honesty and depth today. When what I'm taking from this conversation is that health, whatever age we're in, really, it is more than just a quick fix. It's about listening to our bodies. It's respecting the changes our bodies and our minds are going through. And it's truly meeting ourselves with compassion with wherever we are. The word you used was acceptance, and I appreciated that. You reminded us that menopause is more than just the main symptoms like hot flashes. It's also that silence only makes things feel heavier. So for people in our community, it's about speaking up, sharing our experiences, and having advocates. I know we didn't talk about this, but I know for a lot of people of color, marginalized people, the health system can be difficult to manage. And so if you feel like you can't go alone, there are people, whether it's family members, community members, that can go with us and advocate and show up, and write questions before we go so that we don't get confused. But it's important for us to take charge of our health. I really appreciate you sharing your story and your time with your son. And so all your wisdom was really, really appreciated. And for those of us, I always say that tune in, these conversations are door openers. We're just starting to scratch the surface. We're just starting to talk about our experiences. And so we encourage feedback always. We encourage you to tell us how you want to add on to this conversation. If you want to share your story, you know where to find us. Any last words from our wonderful guest?
Thank you so much. I truly I never trust myself, and I thought that I will not be able to do this podcast. But then thank you for trusting and having me here.
Oh, I'm glad you reached out. I said I was honored. And honestly, you're a great example of stop fighting ourselves and start befriending ourselves. So I'm glad you reached out. I'm glad you challenged yourself and you came today, and you're going to reach a lot of people that are going to connect with the similarities of what you experience day to day. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.